All right, everybody. Welcome in and welcome back. Season 5, Episode 4, aka our 146th show. Listeners, Andy and I were trading some funny chants before the show. One we will probably share with you, one we will definitely not. But the chants have been top notch so far in this World Cup.
Yeah, and they've all come from, I'd say, outside of the U.S.
Yes.
Because one thing I'm hearing just across the board is that the U.S., and maybe this is why they keep exiting, is like we can't develop a good chant or a fan experience that's unique to us. And I think maybe that's why we've bumped it. But we're enjoying it. The World Cup vibes have kind of, for me, have picked up, definitely, just from the past week and the matches that we've seen. I love the knockout stages. I think the knockouts, group stage, I love a quick group stage, but now just getting into the knockout stages, it's getting all the jeopardies there, and I'm getting very excited, Paul.
Yes, absolutely. Same here. Andy, any transfer news?
You know, there is a little transfer news that just happened for United where we are signing a young Chelsea midfielder. His name is Andre Santos. This is coming after kind of the big swoop by Tottenham, who have shelled out a ton of money for two midfielders. One was for Tottenham. One was Sandro Tonali, the Italian international, and then Mateus Fernandes, who is playing in West Ham. But since they got relegated, there was a bidding war, and United decided we're going to pay a ton of money for Mateus Fernandes, and I think that was the right call. So we did miss out on our top target, but I like what we're trying to do in the market. I would like one more midfielder personally because I want to make sure Carrick has that support. But we'll see what happens. Still, there's still lots of playing. A lot more will be open, I think, after the World Cup. Anything from Barcelona, Paul?
Frankie De Jong, I would sell him to you guys still.
Hey, maybe we might take him. We might. I don't know if he's. I don't even know how old he is now. Is he 27, 28?
I think he's 29. Let's see. He is 29. I was right.
Jeez. Was he really only... Man, that just shows how old we're getting. Because I remember him being one of the kids in the Ajax team. And I was like, I just graduated college. So I didn't realize he was only a couple years younger than us. That's wild. That's wild to think about.
Yes. Yep. So on Barcelona's end, nothing major. It sounds like nothing's official, but it sounds like a deal is going to be struck for Joao Cancelo, signing from Al Hilal in the Saudi League, which would be great. I have been wanting this move the entire summer, so that was fantastic. Sounds like Atletico Madrid is actually open to offers from Barcelona for Julian Alvarez, which is great. And nothing is close there, but it sounds like we're getting closer, which would be fantastic. Something I didn't realize with him is I guess he's been kind of nursing an ankle injury, which is why up until this most recent Argentina game, he hasn't started, except for I think the third group stage game. Because Z and I were like, why isn't he starting? So I did some research. That's what it sounds like. But we will get into Argentina and all the other teams coming up. Barcelona is still waiting to sign a center back to pair with Kubarsi, who's been fantastic this World Cup so far. So who knows?
I'm sure that'll come after the World Cup. Also, another bit of transfer news, because this strikes close to home, is that Robert Lewandowski has signed to play for the Chicago Fire.
Yes.
Which is very exciting because I'm not sure if you know this, Paul, but I've heard this many, many a time, so I don't know if I necessarily have to claim it. But I think Chicago has the highest number of Polish speakers outside of Warsaw, the largest number. So there will be a lot of Polish people coming in to watch Robert Lewandowski of Poland fame. So I'm kind of excited. I'm a little bit more intrigued to go and watch him if I could get the chance to watch him.
Yeah, and kind of on that note, I saw an interesting post from his wife, actually, who was very vulnerable kind of talking about being sad about leaving Barcelona, the worry
Mm-hmm.
she has about coming to the United States and finding a school for their daughters and
Mm-hmm.
different things. And it was kind of refreshing to see, because sometimes you see the posts of these famous people and everything looks like sunshine and rainbows and happiness, and it was just very very refreshing to have this real raw post about
Mm-hmm.
how worried she is, and legitimately so.
Yeah.
So just interesting, very very interesting to see. So
Yeah.
I hope they have a good move. I hope they have a good next chapter in their life,
Yeah.
and I wish him all the best. He
Yeah.
again, I was very happy with everything he did for Barcelona, and he will always have a home in Barcelona.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I kind of hope that the Polish community like embrace it. Will definitely, I think, embrace Robert Lewandowski and Lewandowska. But I want to, yeah, I totally see what she's saying. And honestly, it's nice to hear from a wife's perspective and like
Hmm.
in the couple of the professional and what happens to the wife, because like she has her friends, she has her support group, and going. I think it's more of like just going across the country or across the continent, across the world to come in. That's
Hmm.
really scary. And yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's not like Chicago or the U.S. doesn't have its problems when it comes to foreign nationals. So like, or anyone that's international. So
Yeah.
completely valid concerns, and happy for her to share that, because yeah, like not everyone is the same, and so we need to hear all those voices so that people feel, I think, represented from that. So yeah, good
Definitely.
on her for that.
Definitely. So, anything else with transfer news, Andy, or are we ready for
I
World
think
Cup?
I think we're ready to go. I'm surprised we even had so much more transfer news. So thank you, Robert Lewandowski, for giving us a little bit more to talk about Chicago for my send. So Paul, let's kick it off. We're gonna go back to like the early knockout stages, because so much has happened in the past week, so
Yeah.
much soccer. We're gonna kind of go back and just go through the knockout stage, what we kind of thought for the round of 32, and then for the round of 16.
Yeah. So, first game that we're starting with, because we left off on Paraguay, Germany, is Morocco, Netherlands. That game went to penalties. It was 1-1 after regular time. And then Morocco actually ended up winning 3-2 on penalties. It was a pretty poor performance from both teams penalty wise.
Mm-hmm.
But Morocco ended up being on top. And I think this was pretty shocking for a lot of people. I mean, I had the
Mm-hmm.
Netherlands going all the way to the finals in my bracket.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Netherlands was a dark horse to win it for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, interesting. I mean, interesting. Morocco played them very tough, and Morocco has been a tough out in these last two World Cups for sure. So this was
Mm-hmm.
probably their toughest game outside of if they had met up with France in the quarterfinals, which would have been this upcoming game. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, just kind of surprised the Netherlands did not win this game, but I think Morocco was absolutely deserving.
Mm-hmm. Morocco's just been a very strong team this entire tournament, and I
Hmm.
think it goes back to the World Cup, where like honestly, like this is the golden generation, if you can say it, for Morocco,
Hmm.
where their group is cohesive, solid. That they have enough world class players in the right spots to really be effective. And I think that's really the case there.
Yeah.
So
Did you see the penalty shootout and what Morocco's goalkeeper Bono did?
I didn't know
Okay.
what happened.
So most goalkeepers, when they're defending penalties, they will dive to one side or another to try to save the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Bono decided as the kick was being taken, he would stay upright and kind of shade towards one side of the goal so that he could basically take away half of the goal completely. Because when goalies
Hmm.
dive, they probably cover, say, like 40% of the goal, 40,
Mm-hmm.
45. Because
Yeah.
if you put a shot over them high enough, it's probably going in. So they're not covering truly half of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that he was doing it, he was taking away half the goal completely.
Wow. Okay.
It was just very interesting, and there was a lot of talk about it after it happened, and maybe it sparks a change in how goalies decide to
Mm.
defend
Are you saying that he
PKs.
was like up? Are you saying that he was upright and right in the middle of the goal, or was he like starting in his starting position, he was kind of more over to like one side of the goal.
So he would start in the middle, and as the kick taker was going up to shoot, he would kind of shade over to one side.
Like shuffle
Yeah.
over to one side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
So basically taking away that entire half of the goal, whether the shot was high, low, like if somebody tried to chip down the middle, he'd be able to easily save that too. So just really interesting because no goalie has really done this in recent memory. So I don't know, maybe this sparks a change in how goalies defend PKs.
It could very well be, because I think, because if he's like enough of like a freak of nature where like he can jump and get to somewhere pretty quick, I say kind of worth it for that.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I've heard a lot from the Netherlands is that, from like the opposite side, is that the Netherlands, the way that they played, I think this is something I heard from Thierry Henry. It's something I've heard from Zlatan, heard from Brendan Hunt, is that the Netherlands didn't play like the Netherlands. Like they didn't really embrace their total football heritage, and they played very negatively, let's say. And so I think there was a lot of pushback from Ronald Koeman from his time. As you probably were aware that when he managed Barcelona not too long ago, there's kind of a shift there, and he's not like although I think he played on the team with Johan Cruyff, he is not like a Johan Cruyff disciple, let's say. So that total football kind of thing is not in him, and I think that really rubbed people the wrong way, given that the Netherlands, I don't think from what I heard, people didn't expect a whole lot from the Netherlands people specifically, but just seeing how they dipped out, I think is a real shame for sure.
Yeah, especially because they had a really strong group stage too. So
they did.
Yeah, interesting there for sure. Going over to Norway, Ivory Coast, Andy. It was a 2-1 victory for Norway. My biggest standout, this was for me one of the best round of 32 games that we saw personally, especially one that didn't go into extra time. But it was very evenly matched. And at the very, very end of the game, it was like the last kick of the game. Ivory Coast won a free kick, which I thought was kind of a baloney free kick to give, but they got it anyway. And the guy, I think he was number 18. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but
was it Ahmad? I'm curious because I know Ahmad had, I think, a pretty good World Cup, to be honest. Maybe not. I'm not sure.
Get up. Yeah, it was Ahmad. Yep.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. So Ahmad steps up to take this free kick, and it's last action of the game. He puts this ball almost perfectly in the corner, and the Norway goalie somehow, some way gets to it and tips it over.
Wow.
And it was, I think personally, probably the best free kick I have seen that did not end up in a goal. Like, it was near perfect.
Yeah.
And Norway, I think that's been kind of Norway's theme, is obviously they've been scoring goals and Holland's been going off, but their goalie, I think, has probably been the best goalie in the tournament from the saves he's been making, in my opinion. So that was my standout for this game, is how even it was and how well the Norway goalie played and basically saved them from going to extra time in this game.
Yeah, that's impressive, because in my head, I'm thinking like Norway really doesn't have much. But it seems like every time, like Holland is always stepping up, and it seems like there's always one other player in Norway that is able to rise to that occasion. So like this time, it seems like the goalkeeper is, silently having a very good tournament. So
yeah,
Norway's honestly interesting. Norway's very interesting.
They are. I think Odegaard needs to get out of his own way, though. I think he's trying to play hero ball and do too much. When needs to trust his teammates more, because there were multiple times in this game and then in their next round game where there was an easy pass on and each side tried to dribble through 2-3 defenders instead and ended up losing the ball. And it's like, simplify, play your game. You don't have to do it all.
Yeah. I don't think it's crazy for me to say this given what you know about me and my feelings towards Arsenal, but I don't think Odegaard is the same kind of number 10 as many of these other number 10s in there. So I think he is good. I think he's definitely above average in terms of like what's happening in the world, but I don't put him at that top tier.
Yeah,
So I
I'm
think,
fine with that.
yeah, I think it's just going to be interesting, or I'd say because of that, he's going to have a lot of fluctuation. So that's why I don't think of like he's still not a somebody where like there's the consistency that's there.
Right.
So
Sure.
that's kind of how I see with Norway with that. But they're able to get past actually I think a good Ivory Coast side. Just
Yes.
I think it's unfortunate how who they ran into and when they ran into them. So, but I
Agreed.
think I think they should hold their heads up high, definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Moving on to the next one, Andy. France, they ended up sweeping aside Sweden 3-0. And
mhm,
it just looks like they can score whenever they want.
yeah, yeah, Elise, that left hand side is just I think demolishing players,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have Dembele on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have two world class players, and honestly, you have two of the best players in the world on in your front line. It's incredible. It's
Yep.
incredible. So yeah, I think Dembele really adds that balance and really is why that threat is so crazy because they just have multiple threats. They can beat you multiple ways, and
Mm-hmm.
really, you're going to need a lot more than you're just going to need a lot more to beat them, and because of their amount of talent and how they're using it, you're going to need a lot more than just hard work to be able to beat them. You're going to need
Yeah,
a lot of luck to go your way. So
definitely. Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
what I'm seeing.
the fact that they can put on our front five of Mbappe, Dembele, Olise, Barcola, and Doué. I mean,
Mm.
if they really need to go out and get a goal, they could have all five of those guys on, and your defense is going to stand little to no chance.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then not to mention like who's in your midfield with
Mm-hmm.
Chouameni, with um, even Cherky. You have Cherky coming off the bench, and Cherky can pick the lock. He's like I don't know. I don't know if you compare him to Danny Olmo, but he's almost like a. I think he's used in the French team as like the lock pick. That
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be able to dribble through people and do crazy things to make it happen. So France is just they're an exciting team. They are an
Yeah,
exciting team, but
unfortunately, but yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, to Mexico against Ecuador. And Mexico ended up demolishing Ecuador 2-0. Ecuador was a lot of people. I think they're dark horses, just
Mm-hmm.
given. I want to say, I think given their midfield. Yeah, I'd say given their midfield, I think a lot of people thought they're probably going to succeed. Of all the South American teams, they're probably maybe the most likely to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But here, they fall to a really good Mexico side.
Yeah, yeah, and there are political ramifications around Mexico, Ecuador. They are in not good terms politically with each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Listeners, I would encourage you to look up the story as to why. It's a little bit of a longer story, so I'm not going to go into it. But it was personal on a different sort of level, and I think that kind of showed up in the game. Ecuador ended up getting a red card in this game as well. But you know how there are some 2-0 games that are like, oh, it was close, but one team just kind of eked out a 2-0
Mm-hmm.
victory. This to
Mm-hmm.
me was a very like statement 2-0 victory. It
Mm-hmm.
to me, I don't think it was super close.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Mexico domination, and no one in Ecuador looked like they were going to be able to stop Mexico from winning this game.
Wow. Sounds like Mexico could have won by more, is what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
that's what I took away from this game for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, and Mexico's looking good. I think, yeah, they were looking good all tournament. So, kind of thinking they're the team of the tournament at this point, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
At least I was thinking that too of like, geez, the way they're playing. Coming then into the next match, which was on that side, was England Democratic Republic of the Congo, or as some people have said, Dr. Congo, which is which is obviously funny. I thought like I think people know my team is England in this tournament, since with Scotland not being in it, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo has a lot better players than I think people thought they gave them credit for because they had actually had some ex England internationals in I think Axel Tuanzebe and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who I think they've technically, I don't know if they've played for England before or were at one point debating between England and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So there were a lot of Premier League players on this team. I think
Hmm.
more than I realized in hearing these names be like, shoot, these are teams that give United like terror dreams. And so seeing them go up early on,
What
little
did you
little worried, little
What did
worried.
you think of that goal? Do you blame Pickford on that goal because it's a near side shot that he looks like he almost got
Probably,
stun locked on?
I think he can do better, but
Hmm.
I actually blame more of the right back and the defense getting sucked in because he had all sorts of space on the
Yeah.
left hand side. So like he could be able to basically wind up and go for a hard smashing hit to beat a near post.
Hmm.
So I think it's more on that to just give someone an open opportunity because I I think that means matters more. Um, but up steps up Harry Kane in the second half. Oh my
And
god, yeah,
Anthony Gordon, 2 assists.
and Anthony Gordon, yeah, he came off the bench. I thought Rashford was affecting the game, but he just was not converting, and so I
Yeah,
think Tuchel
agreed.
made the right decision to take him off because it just wasn't happening for him. And Rashford could have gone. I think he could have scored a couple, like in the first half.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but oh my god, Harry Kane! Oh my god, I holy cow! It's amazing because having watched and rooted for England for as long as I have, it's very rare that you get to see someone step up and be world class when like people need them. I missed out on Wayne Rooney, and Wayne Rooney probably was the closest one. And like, I wish I could have seen Wayne Rooney be that guy, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to win a World Cup. Harry Kane and what he was able to do is incredible. His first goal, I can't remember his first goal super well, but it was more of like one of like he was just able to keep knocking on the door and finding that space to get that header in. The second goal, man, is just incredible. Like watching it and seeing it, it's kind of like one of those like you're very speechless. Like I know you've
Yeah.
seen so many messy goals where you're honestly
He,
like, no way he does that. Like you look at it,
yes.
you see it happen, you can almost like see it in your mind's eye of thinking, oh, he's going to do that. He's going to do this thing. He's going to just hit it the one time. And he's going to rifle in the top right corner. But you don't believe it because you're like, no, there's no way he can do that. And
Right.
then he did it, and it was just, oh man, it was. I was ecstatic. I was so ecstatic. I was texting Joey and being like, "It's King Harry now!" Like because initially I was like, "God save you, Henry," or Harry, and now it's like, no, give the real King Harry. He is now the real King Harry. So oh man, that was euphoria. That was absolute euphoria. I loved every bit of it, and so glad he had that moment. And so glad I now have that memory on lock now for that. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
it was great. It was great.
Awesome, awesome. Yep.
Um,
And for all the people hating on Barcelona and Anthony Gordon, he showed you why was such a hot commodity in
mhm,
this offseason.
definitely. Oh yeah, I think he'll do great things and he'll learn a lot playing over there or playing in Barcelona too. So
Yep.
only good things to come there. Heading to Belgium, Senegal, kind of a crazy game. 5 goals scored in this game, but Belgium is able to hold on for dear life against Senegal. Um, what were your thoughts, Paul?
I didn't get to watch this one all the way through. I watched highlights, and to me, it's typical Belgium. And Senegal's a great team. Like I'm not here to
They
take
were.
away anything from Senegal, but to me, it's Belgium did enough to win, but it's not like they convinced me of, oh yeah, like I think Belgium has a shot this year. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like
Mm-hmm.
they're just doing enough, at least up until this point,
Mm-hmm.
um, to keep advancing in the tournament. That
Yeah.
was my biggest takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I agree, especially at that point. Sad to see Senegal go out because
Yes.
a lot of good African teams not making it far at all besides Morocco.
Yep.
So would love to see a sub-Saharan African team make it a little bit further, and I thought Senegal would be the one there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yep. USA find themselves against a two-country team in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yep.
I didn't see this match, so tell me what you saw, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was the United States just kind of bullying Bosnia and Herzegovina a little bit and out physicaled them a little bit, I would say. And also, so was it Tillman? I think it was Tillman who had the free kick goal in this game. I had so many messages and calls about how amazing this free kick was. And I'm like, did you watch the same thing that I watched? Because this free kick should never have ended up in the net. First of all, he hits it over the wall, and the tallest guy in the wall doesn't jump. If the tallest guy in the wall has a vertical of 3 inches greater than his height, if he literally just gets 3 inches off the ground, he heads the ball away.
Yeah, like if he stands on his toes.
Yes, the ball hits him in the head and it doesn't go in the net. Exactly. So that's the first thing. The second thing, the goalkeeper from Bosnia and Herzegovina, I don't know what he was doing. He had the worst jump I have ever seen because the ball on this free kick is middle. It's middle height and it's middle to the left from the dead center of the goal. Something that any goalie should be able to save. But he doesn't. And now everyone's like, oh, what a great free kick. Oh, so amazing. I'm like, you're only saying that because it went in. It wasn't that great.
Welcome to American
contrast, Ahmad's free kick against Norway, that was a really good free kick. He was just unlucky that it didn't go in.
Yeah.
This one, the Norway goalie could have sat on a chair, read a newspaper, tipped over, and headed the ball away. That's how middle it was. Like, I just, oh, man, I'm so sick of people who watch soccer once every 4 years, fall head over heels in love with this United States team. And anytime they do anything remotely good, they're like, they're so amazing, blah, 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 blah. And I'll get to that when we get to the next round. But I'm just sick of it.
Yeah.
Sick of it.
Well, I think we kind of saw this happen a little bit because we'll set the tone with this match, because there was a red card on Balogun for a challenge that he made. And from what I understand with the challenge, the ball was in the air and Balogun was trying to go. He was going towards the ball.
Yes.
His feet weren't trying to make a play on the ball, but he was trying to land. And as he was landing, his leg caught like the high calf of the Bosnia-Herzegovina player.
And raked down the back of his leg. Yes. Yeah.
And go for it.
Okay. Yeah. And with this, I think it was that raking down that initiated the red card, because it wasn't just like contact on the back of the calf and then it was off. He was running to go get the ball. So again, nothing malicious, but because he was like in the process of bringing his leg down to plant it, he also stepped on kind of like the ankle foot and caused the Bosnia Herzegovina player to twist his ankle as well. And when you look at just that still frame, it looks really bad. But if you look at the whole play, it's like, by the law, could you give that as a red card? Yeah, you absolutely could. Should you? I don't think so. I think it's pretty soft because both players are looking at the ball. There's no malicious intent. It doesn't really endanger the player's safety just because he ends up getting contact on the player's foot and the player's foot twists.
Yeah, because that's what I would say. I agree with that, because what I would say is, like, it's so much about the context of what's happening. Like, if Balogun doesn't see the player, it doesn't look like Balogun should see the player. I think is the other thing too. Is like, is Balogun as an athlete, is he supposed to be able to see this person? Like, should he be able to see this person as he's playing for the ball, as he's going for it? And I think too, the main thing is, like, anytime you do anything in slow motion, it looks worse. Because you see how much, like, again, like, if I socked you, like, I quickly do it, like, it doesn't look too bad because I'm a small weenie. But then if you see a slow-mo of it, like, you see the ripples in your cheek and everything, it's like, holy cow, like, Andy, like, walloped Paul. It's like, no, No, I didn't, because
Yeah.
do you feel that hurt? No. Yeah, so it's the context of how it's happening.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the call was made.
Yep. The call was made, and he would have to serve a suspension in the next round. And
Yep.
that will set the table for when we get to that game. So
yes.
that is their game in the round of 32. Andy, Spain, Austria. Spain finally flexed their muscle, really crushed Austria 3-0. And it was just nice to see their goal scorers kind of step up.
Yeah.
Especially because you never know what you're going to get in Spain, especially in the knockout stages. But they stepped up, convincing, emphatic win. And as a Spain fan, it was nice to see.
Yep. My brother mentioned that this is the Habsburgs, the Western Habsburgs versus the Eastern Habsburgs, who used to rule Europe, where they ruled Spain and ruined. Well, yeah, they did. Ruled Austria as well. So kind of seeing these two is kind of a historic match, I guess, in that sense.
Got it.
But yeah, I don't think there was I don't think it was ever really in doubt from the scoreline. It doesn't look like there was that much in doubt. So
agreed.
Sorry for Ralph Ragnick, but you ran into a buzzsaw.
Yep. Andy, Portugal, Croatia, probably the most controversial ending we've had so far in the World Cup. So Portugal is up 2-1 at this point. Croatia is knocking at the door. I think we're in the 12th minute of stoppage time at this point. It's one last gasp. Croatia throws the ball into the box. Both the Croatia player and the Portugal player go up for the ball to head it. Unclear as to if the Croatia player heads the ball. It then hits the Portugal defender's head, goes back towards his goal. Croatia player gets on the end of it and scores. Yeah. Given a goal on the field. They go back and look at it. And when you look at it in slow motion, one of the ways that I try to tell if a ball has been touched is I see if the spin on the ball changes.
Yeah, that's usually what they recommend. Yeah.
Yeah, because if the spin on the ball changes, you know that there was a touch. From what I can tell, watching it multiple times in slow motion, it does not look like the spin on the ball changes. After the game, so there are chips in the ball that can read if there's been a contact on it. And I don't know if VAR is using that or who's using the technology, but it's supposed to be there for people to use.
Yeah.
In that play, there is only one spike on the graph that shows that one person made contact with the ball, which was the defender, which was clear in the clip. For whatever reason, when I was watching this, the VAR, when they pulled it up for the referee to see, they showed one still image from 30 yards away of the ball being close to the Croatian player's head. And I'm like, how can you tell anything from that? Because I can't. And that was what was used as the decision for ruling it as offside.
Man, that's weird. It's so weird because in the group stages, it didn't feel like there was that much of this happening. Right. And I get it because it's not the knockout, so it's not it's not has as much jeopardy. Where if it's a draw, it's still a result that you can kind of take with you and blah blah blah. But it's just strange to see that now we're seeing VAR coming back in to see this and seeing why people dislike VAR, and now it's going on a world scale of being why are we doing this? Yeah. Why is it being used in this way?
Yeah, it's when the viewers can see something and it looks completely different to the VAR decision that's made, it's what are they doing? What are they watching?
Yeah.
Do they understand their job?
The video assistant referee has multiple clips that they could be looking at.
Yes.
And again, the whole thing is if it's clear and obvious. If it's not clear and obvious, you don't call him in. And it still is still the referee on the ground can still say, even if it was clear and obvious, and look at it and be nope, I still don't want it.
Yep.
Because he's supposed to, I think, in our minds, he's supposed to have the context of what happened at that time.
Right.
But it just seems now it's VAR is calling it. Oh, I made a blatant mistake. I have to change everything in how I was thinking of why this is a foul or not.
Right.
And that is the super frustrating thing. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. So I think Croatia was hard done by. And again, I don't know if they would have won the game if that game had gone into extra time, but I think they at least deserve the chance to play for it in extra time
Yeah,
because they
agreed.
scored there for sure.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah.
Andy, moving on, Switzerland, Algeria. To me, especially for how Switzerland played in the group stages, I wasn't blown away, but they have been quite convincing in these knockout stages. And you saw that against a good Algeria team with just a very solid 2-0 win. It didn't even look like Algeria could get a foot into the game. Switzerland was just very stout. They've been stout defensively. They're just kind of playing their game. They're not doing anything fancy. They're staying in their lane and they're executing their game plan to a T.
Yep, they're being like the Swiss Army knife. Like they're just finding whatever way to get the result, and they're doing that. So kudos to them. They've had a long history, I think, of doing this because they've made deep runs in Euros, and they have a solid group of players that are playing like a team, and that's what you need.
Yep, absolutely. Last couple of games here in the round of 32, Andy. Egypt, Australia 1-1 after regulation, and then Egypt ended up winning 4-2 on penalties. I think my biggest thing watching this game, in like the 119th minute, Australia makes a goalkeeper substitution for penalties because they played a 120, so goalkeeper was brought in just for penalties.
Yeah.
And that goalkeeper made a grand total of 0 saves in the penalty shootout.
Oh no, that's bad. That's bad.
And, it's not to say that he should have necessarily. Egypt had a really good penalty shootout, but it's just not a good look. And you feel bad for the goalkeeper because the goalkeeper is doing their best, right?
Yeah.
But you look at the manager and you're like, oh man, you gambled and it really didn't pay off.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's something that's interesting that I've heard, and this is from Rebecca Lowe in the After the Whistle podcast. So yes, if you want to know where I'm getting a lot of my stuff from, it's because I'm listening to After the Whistle.
It's fantastic. It's a fantastic
it's great.
podcast.
It's like top 3, top 5 sports podcasts right now.
Yep.
And I'm glad because it's beating freaking stupid stuff like Pardon My Take and whatever garbage.
Yep.
But one of the things that Rebecca Lowe kind of shared, and I actually I hadn't thought of it, and I thought it was interesting, is that when you're making a substitution that late, knowing that it's going into penalties, it puts so much more pressure on that person. It really doesn't affect. It doesn't show. There's no correlation necessarily being like if you're coming on just especially do that or whatever. There's no real correlation. It's just the pressure. So you're putting the pressure on the keeper now. That's like you have to make the saves.
Yes,
you're put on for one reason is that you are just good at making penalty saves. That's a whole ton of pressure. Where if you're kind of in the game, you're giving everything, you're part of the game, you're giving everything, it's a little bit less, and you're part of the team more so. That is just so much more apparent that it's like, oh, you've been brought in to do this one thing, you better not mess it up. And that's a whole lot of pressure for people to deal with. So I can see that kind of being the thing. I'm not against specialist keepers because I've seen it work. And I think optically it's worked more than, and to me makes more sense. But it's still a high pressure situation. I just personally wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I agree with that. Just so much more pressure on them for sure. So, Andy, last couple here: Argentina, Cape Verde.
Dude,
man, I think this might have been the game of the round of 32. It had everything.
Did it feel like it as the Argentina fan? Because I've heard people will say that for United games, and I'm like, no, I wanted to win. I didn't want a spectacle. I just wanted a clean win.
Of course, that's what I wanted, a clean win, but it was a fantastic game. You gotta kind of step back and view it from outside and try not to look through the fan eyes of being an Argentina fan, because Cape Verde just wouldn't go away. They just kept coming back. Every time Argentina scored, they'd score. And it took extra time, and that's kind of frustrating against a team that Argentina should beat and probably should beat a little bit easier. But Cape Verde played them tough, and the second goal scored by the Cape Verde player from just outside the top left, or I guess top right corner of the 18, and just curled it beautifully top 90.
Couldn't have dreamt that. Could not have dreamt that any better.
No, and their fans, their team went absolutely bonkers. And then luckily Argentina came back and scored again, so it didn't have to go to penalties. But Yeah, I mean, Cape Verde to me has been the best team in the tournament. And I'm not talking
Mm-hmm.
about the best, like the most skilled. I'm talking about the storylines, the culture, the
Mm-hmm.
performances, the expectations, all of that taken together. They've been the best team.
Yeah, they're the story of the tournament, I think for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And unfortunately, I think this is one that people will say like, "Well, look at the expanded format allows like teams like Cape Verde to get in and things." Um,
Yeah.
which like I get because I understand because you have so many groups and it's like they probably would not have been able to get into a group.
Yeah.
But I
I
think it
think,
happens with anyone. It happens with any story. It happens with
right.
any team. If it wasn't Cape Verde, it might have been somebody else. If
Right.
so even if it was a
Yeah.
smaller
It's,
spot. So you just gotta give
yeah,
credit where it's due.
I agree. I just think they're the outlier rather than the rule because there have
Mm-hmm.
been so many other teams that probably wouldn't have gotten in otherwise and showed that they probably didn't deserve to be in,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. I don't think we should use them as the rule to keeping the expanded format, but we all
Mm-hmm.
know it's probably going to be here to stay. So
Yeah, unfortunately. But
absolutely. Absolutely. Andy, last game, I was not able to watch this one. Colombia, they barely got by Ghana 1-0. So they advanced. I don't know if you were able to see it at all.
not able to see it, but like just knowing playing against Ghana when watching England play against Ghana, I can imagine how Ghana played, and they were very bought into playing against England. I'm sure they were doing the same with Colombia. So amazing for Colombia to get past them and get the win. But yeah, nothing. I think more to say is they just were able to advance, partially because of what we know happens in the round of 16. But
Yep.
we'll head into that now, without much more to say about 1-0 victory for Colombia there.
Yep. Yep.
So heading into the round of 16, um, we see Morocco face Canada, and from what I'm understanding, because I wasn't able to watch many of these games, being away, but Morocco looked like they only kind of came up and showed up in the second half, and were really able to push past Canada. What did you make of it?
Yeah, so I watched this one, and the first half it felt pretty even, but it just I was watching and I was like, where is the Morocco team that just beat the Netherlands? Like, where is the Morocco team that drew 1-1 with Brazil and looked like the better team that whole game? It was one of those things, and then all of a sudden, about 10 minutes into the second half, it seemed like they flipped a switch
Yeah,
and just came out and crushed Canada 3-0. And I was like, oh, there they are. There
yeah.
they are. So, maybe it was a tactics thing. Maybe it was, Canada finally got tired and Morocco could finally impose their will. Hard to say
Mm-hmm.
for sure, but it was like, okay, yep, there they are. Morocco they're them. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
So,
They's them. He's
yep,
him. He's him. They's them.
yep, yep,
Yeah. Honestly, I want to still give credit to Canada for their best ever performance. Yes, usually, wink, wink. When you host, you have a better performance than your historical performances, and Canada were able to do that. They won a knockout game. They advanced in their group, topped their group. So really big things. I think big things to come from Canada. So very happy for them and the showing that they put in the
yeah,
tournament.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. So Morocco moves on. Andy, we're going to now talk about probably the most controversial is not the right word, but hard to describe this one really. It's France Paraguay, and France barely pushed past Paraguay 1-0. They needed a pen. The Paraguay goalkeeper played extremely well in this game. But this was a classic South American team just mucking up the game, just imposing all of the dark arts, being really chippy. And as somebody who follows a South American team in Argentina, one of the more skilled ones who they definitely do some of this, but not as much as other teams. This to me is more normal, for especially for South American teams that are maybe a little bit outmatched. They're going to do whatever they can to win the game, right? And I don't love it, but it definitely is a strategy that can be employed in football matches, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had somebody reach out to me and say Paraguay cheated in this game. And I was like, cheated? And again, this is somebody who watches soccer once every 4 years and doesn't really understand how soccer works fully.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they did not cheat. You might not have liked how they played, and a lot of people didn't, but it is a valid strategy to play. It's one that nobody really likes, but it is a valid strategy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so there's that. I did not like how Mbappe reacted after the game was over. I know he was hacked throughout this game and was chirped at and whatnot, but he basically celebrated in the Paraguay goalkeeper's face and would refuse to shake his hand. And I'm like, come on, man, like grow up.
Like, I think you're being harsh on Kylian, because
I don't think so. Because here's the thing, Andy. And maybe I'm in the minority here, and I can say that, but I think no matter what happens in a game, you can at least say good game at the end. If you are like, I don't appreciate anybody who refuses to shake hands with the opposing team.
I can only understand it. Like growing up and teaching kids, I absolutely would say like you absolutely have to. I do kind of think now a little bit in seeing how sportsmanship works, in that when you see people instill like kind of doing these dark arts, there gets to be a level, and there is like a code when you get to a certain level of play, like especially in baseball. That's why like these fights happen all the time in baseball. There's a specific code that happens, and if you don't follow that code, it's really messed up. I think especially because you look at how long these players like have and how tough it is to get to this level. And when you do things like the dark arts and things like, you're kind of, it's sportsmanship, but it's like, this is the code of sportsmanship. So I understand why. I don't hold it too much against Kylian. What I probably would have wanted him to at least like shake the person's hand. Yes, but like the only reason I would see as to not for real is if it's racist abuse.
Yeah.
That's the one I would say. But
Sure.
Again,
and from what I saw, it wasn't anything like that. And there could have been, but from everything that I've seen, it wasn't. It was just, a lot of chirping from the outfield players. And if you don't want to shake an outfield player's hand, fine. Right. Because they were hacking all game.
What's the difference? I guess that's my question. Is like, what's the difference if you're not going to shake anyone's hand?
The goalie didn't do anything to him. The goalie played a great game. Goalie didn't chirp him. Goalie didn't hack him. So for you to go and celebrate in the goalie's face, to me, I think is inappropriate.
Then I think something must have happened in the lead up to the penalty for Kylian to celebrate in the goalkeeper's face. Because what he would have done if he was hacking and he would have seen a person, logically, I would think you go and celebrate in front of that person that was like the a-hole to you.
Yeah.
So I kind of think there's something happening there.
Maybe. I haven't seen anything about that, but I just, that's something that just does not sit well with me. I'm somebody who values personally and with the athletes that I love to follow winning with class, but that's just me. Anyway, another point about this game is I don't know if you saw this, but there was a Paraguayan senator, female, and I don't remember her name off the top of my head, Celeste something, who had an absolutely horrific racist post following this game on social media. And listeners, if you haven't heard about it and you're interested, go look it up. It was in regards to Kylian Mbappe, and I'm not going to glorify any of her comments and repeat them. It's all over social media. But like, what are we doing? Like, this doesn't deserve to be in anything, sports, anywhere in our world. Like, you are an intelligent woman, from what I can understand, because you are a senator for a government, for a national government, and you're posting this garbage because
Mhm.
what, you're mad about the result of a game? Like, I don't know. Did
Yeah.
you see the
I had
comments?
heard about it. I saw what Kylian said back, and like
Yeah.
this is where I agree with you. Of like Kylian said some harsh things. I didn't know I didn't know there was racist,
Oh yeah.
and still, it's still like the context of this is once it kind of gets off the playing field. That's where like my candor maybe changes a little bit because like
Mm-hmm.
you have enough understanding of like you're out of the heat of the moment, you're out of the combat zone
Mm-hmm.
to doing this. Like probably would have been better just for Killian to not post, probably just not post anything. But he still did, and I understand why he did. So like I'm
Yeah.
not saying like he should have been better because like what
No.
he said is,
And
he has to defend himself.
I agree. I think he defended himself. I have no problem with what Killian said. I don't. Like, he's standing up for himself, and if
We
somebody were to
couldn't
say
be more
something,
different. We couldn't be more different. We're like, you're not upset of what he said and like the candor he's
no,
saying
because
to someone
if you
in a
saw
more
what
public
that person,
forum.
because if you
Yeah.
saw what that person wrote about him, like,
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
it's horrible.
It's horrendous. It's horrendous. But anyway, yeah. It's just let's
We
get
are
the
on opposite sides.
yeah. We're we got to get the politics out of soccer. I
Yep.
understand there's politics to make soccer happen. I get all that. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. This I don't like. I don't get. It's not couth. Get it out of here.
Yep.
Just get it out of here. There's no
Yep.
place for it. No place
Absolutely.
for it.
Absolutely. So
Just like there's no place for Brazil in the quarterfinals.
Smooth. Yep. Norway comes back and beats Brazil 2. Oh, no, sorry. Norway was up 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
And Brazil got a late penalty to make it 2-1. Well, I'll get to that penalty in a minute, but Andy Holland is an absolute problem for anybody's defense.
Mm-hmm.
He just, man, he is fun to watch. I know you might not like watching him because he's a City player, but as a neutral, he's fun.
Mm-hmm. He's scoring goals. He's definitely scoring goals, and that's what he does. He is an old fashioned. He's really like an old fashioned number 9.
Yes.
Just bullying people.
Yes.
And that's kind of nice to see. And in today's day and age where there really isn't any number 9, he is like the sole number 9 that can do these things.
Yeah.
So, and he's having himself a tournament, and that's scary because his team doesn't have to play good. They just have to give him the ball, and he'll find a way to score a goal. And goals are a luxury in this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think my takeaway from Brazil, it's tough because it feels like it reminds me of PSG back when Neymar, Messi, and Kylian played for PSG. It seems like a lot of talented players that don't have like a cohesive unit, that don't know or don't want to, or whatever it might be, play as a team. Right? It's just, it seems like individual ball, and they just can't quite make it work to make any sort of meaningful run in the World Cup.
I think it's just a really soft Brazil. Not a soft as in like they're not like aggressive, but just I think talent wise, like they don't have the. You're not like gobsmacked by these players like you were in Brazil teams of the past, where you're like, holy cow, he puts on the Brazil shirt, and you're like, he is like an ethereal god in world soccer. I just don't think you're seeing that much more. Like, who the heck are they starting at number 9? Like they're putting Mateus Cunha, who is definitely a Brazilian player, I think, but he is not. He does not have yet the. He has it in Brazil, but he's not a 9.
Right.
Whereas like the 9 that to score these goals are like the incredible left backs and right backs that like can unlock a defense just from their own dribbling. So you have to treat, when you're defending a left back or right back from Brazil, you have to treat them like a winger. he's that skilled. Like
Mm-hmm.
where is that? Like where
Yeah,
is that? That's what I'm just not seeing
sure.
seen with this Brazil team is like I just don't think they really had that much quality than other Brazil teams have had. Not to knock them, but I
You
don't
have
think
every right to, though.
they just didn't have it. And I love
Yeah,
Mateus Cunha because he is that Brazilian player because he just DGAF. He'll run through a wall with the ball and come out with it.
yeah,
Um, but just this one, just it wasn't there. I don't think they had enough talent. Didn't have enough talent. And I think to your point, they didn't have enough complementary talent to
yeah,
make it all work.
yeah, yeah. And then Neymar gets a penalty late. He ends up scoring, but like as the referee's getting it set up, there's like a minute straight where he and the goalkeeper are just going at it.
Mm.
And I would have loved to have heard what they were saying to each other because it looked like it got personal or something. Like there were definitely some words exchanged leading up to that penalty. So, but ended up being too little, too late. And then Neymar, pretty much right after the loss, said he is retiring from international football. So he apparently will not play for Brazil in the
All
future.
right.
So,
Au revoir, Neymar.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
okay.
talented, just no work ethic, man.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Now I think we're getting to from one of the
good
best,
stuff.
the good stuff.
Yeah.
When I'm a big, you probably know, big Anglophile. I know a decent amount about English history. To me, this ranks up there with the victories of Agincourt, up there with Dunkirk, up there with Waterloo, as some of the best defense I have witnessed from an English team on foreign soil is how I would describe this man. Because I mean, legitimately leading up to this game, I look on my athletic app, it's saying 55% in favor of Mexico, 45% in favor of England. Not great seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time I'm looking and hearing things, it's about the altitude and how England's going to acclimatize to it, but the altitude, and they're going to have time to. What are they going to do about the altitude and the altitude?
Selling a
Yeah.
a storyline.
I mean, but it's just, this is how Brits think. They're so obsessed with the weather. They're so obsessed with their surroundings.
It wasn't just the Brits though. It was everybody.
Everyone was trying to do it.
Everyone was talking about it.
Yeah. And like, even it was kind of funny. I heard Elvin, my fiance's dad, and he was like, "What's the big deal? Like Denver is higher." And I'm like,
It's not.
Elvin,
It's not.
it is.
It's
Well, Denver is at a higher elevation above sea level. It's not.
No. Denver is
Really?
5,000 feet. The Estadio Azteca is like a little over 7,000 feet. So
Oh, wow,
where I
okay.
am in Santa Fe and where the Estadio Azteca is, there's like the same elevation, which is like 2,000 feet higher than Denver.
Oh well, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, already then. So
It's a talking point, but I think people put a lot more into altitude than like it. I think it has some effect, but some people make it seem like it's like crippling.
I mean, I think it can be crippling. And I think that's the thing. So, because people have said like it's absolute murder, and it's not just that. I think it's the altitude, and it is Mexico playing in Mexico City in this stadium. Also, this is the stadium where the hand of God happened to England.
Yes.
So like, this is not a place that has good memories. This is like going to that creepy, or it's going back to your high school and finding out that your high school has turned into a prison, and like you're walking through that.
Yeah.
And trying to fight it, like trying to win a football match. That's kind of like the story I think here.
That to me, those two things to me are like way more important than the altitude. Like that's why to me I kept hearing about the altitude, and I'm like, I feel like we're missing the point here. I feel like Mexico in Mexico City with the history of this stadium with the English team is a lot more important than the altitude is going to be.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the thing of like, you have to respect the altitude. Yes. You absolutely have to, because that's how Mexico plays. I was listening to Brad Friedel on the Rest is Football podcast, and he was like very dismissive of Mexico. He was like, guys, Mexico's really easy to understand. They want to blitz you in the first 20 minutes, but if you survive that for those first 20 minutes, you're fine. And that's exactly what happened with England.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't try to invite pressure by playing out from the back from Mexico where they could jump on them and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They played it long, got back into a compact shape, and then started hitting them on the counter. Now Mexico came close.
Yep.
Like the Jimenez header was one such example.
Yeah.
And a great save.
Great save.
Amazing save. And I think that was like the first shot on target in the whole match. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But then they hit him on the then England hits him on the break. Brilliantly done. First one was like Mexico was kind of sitting off Declan Rice, and England, I think, was feeling very hesitant. I think they were afraid of the altitude and trying to exert themselves too much and not being able to get that back. But then I think Declan just said, like, no, this is our moment. And he drives, and lo and behold, gets it to Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka with a great cross. You know, the switch of Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham to make a header with an emphatic diving header, amazing. And then immediately after that, seeing Anthony Gordon taking advantage of like Mexico kind of faltering was brilliant because that set up the second goal.
Yeah. Jumping on it to get the turnover. Yep.
Yeah. And that was great. So it was honestly like, this is classic underdog. It felt like, honestly, like when Michigan State played, when they played
talking about Duke?
No, it felt like the Rose Bowl.
Oh, we're talking
maybe like Duke, or like I think the Rose Bowl even too, where like you're going up against an opponent that like is seemingly like bigger and like it's going to take care of you, and then just coming and finding your right moment and just dissecting them at the right point. That's what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 goals up. Mexico get a goal back from kind of just some lackluster, I think, defense and not a good clearance.
Really good goal though. Quinones' shot was really good.
Oh yeah, there's no chance.
The little window that he had, yeah.
I do want to make this quick, but
we're doing a great job.
Yeah, we're doing a great job, aren't we? So then a red card comes. Kwanzaa gets the ball, but the way he's sliding, and I think again he's sliding, and it's different because of the either the altitude or just how he puts his body through air. I have no idea, but he goes over the top of the ball, cleats the Mexican player, then he's out, and so now it's just all hands on deck defense, and it's looking kind of scary. Anthony Gordon, however, finds a right opportunity to go and get to draw a penalty
off of a goal kick. By the way,
off of a goal kick, yeah. Because again, like this was, I think, Brad Friedel saying, like, yeah, Mexico aren't that good. Like, if you actually if you challenge them, they will buckle at some point. They will buckle, and that's what they found. Like, because it was textbook. Like Anthony Gordon, he had the right touch to it. He didn't even have to do great, and because it was coming from a goal kick, all Harry Kane had to do was just head it into that area. He didn't even have to make sure it hit Gordon specifically. He just had to go in that area, and Anthony Gordon got to there.
Interesting on this play. So when I watched it in real time, I thought Harry Kane was offside, and he was. However, what I found out, the rule is that you cannot be offside on a goal kick.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, which I found super interesting. I was like, I did not know that was a rule, but that's a rule. Yeah. So good to know.
Crazy. Yeah, so crazy. And just that next, like, I think it was like 40 minutes experience of hunkering down. A red card is appealed to or is called on Harry Kane because he is trying to kick. Or yellow card. It wasn't a red card.
Yep.
You're right. But it was a penalty. That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Penalty is called. I guess it's a penalty because by the letter of the law he hits him, but like he's coming out of nowhere. He's coming. The player coming into Harry Kane is coming from behind Harry. How is he supposed to know that there's someone there?
Yeah,
that was my gripe.
Yeah, I thought it was soft personally. I was rooting for Mexico, and I thought that was soft.
Yeah,
like I didn't think there was enough contact for that to be a foul in the box as a penalty after the fact. It wasn't even called on the field. So yeah, I thought it was soft.
Yeah, but it's letter of the law, and it's like I can't really argue too much with that. But yeah, then from then on out, more and more the kind of seeing of like if seeing how England played and just hunkering in, not even trying to attack, man, it just felt like holy cow, this is like we're in the trenches right now. It was so exhilarating being an England fan. I like yelped when John Stones almost put the ball into the back of his own net.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that clearance. One of the
Yep.
last clearances.
Yep.
Oh my god, everyone was great. Jordan Pickford just saying "F it, I'm just punching all this crap."
Yep.
He owned that box.
Yep.
And
you know who also owned that box?
Dan
Burns.
Holy cow, 6'7". Yeah, still, I think it's going to be one of the pictures of the tournament is his header off of Jimenez's bicycle kick, which could have gone in, to be honest. The way it looked like, was incredible. So, oh my god, man, that was. Yeah. It felt like I went through war. But credit to Mexico a little bit. I wish Mexico was a little bit more clever. But they just did the same thing over and over. And it was so easy. It was really easy to defend against.
You're going up against guys that are in the back line 6'3" and taller, and you have guys that are like maybe 6 feet tall. And you have a man advantage. The problem is I think Mexico subbed off a couple of their more creative players.
Yeah.
And number 25, I don't remember his name off the top of my head for Mexico. He was playing their right wing. And every time he got the ball on the right wing, England did a really good job scouting because they knew he was their only creative player. So whenever he got the ball, he was double teamed.
Yeah.
So he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, then they would just recycle the ball and just hit a hopeful ball into the box to hope someone could get on the end.
Like they would just recycle it out to the left, and he would just play a cross in.
Yep.
Every time.
Yep.
It was like, what is he doing? And because he wouldn't even try to like do maybe he would do an in swinger once or twice, but he didn't try to give and go to kind of get around or anything. Like he was just going, we're going to cross it. It was so strange.
But credit to England. It was a fantastic game, man. I mean, even though I was rooting for Mexico, holy cow, that was such a fun game to watch. It was awesome. It had everything you could have wanted.
It had everything. So it was magnificent. So glad we have that memory for that. Heading to another, I think, really good matchup on paper.
Yep.
Spain, Portugal. What did you make, man?
Yeah, it was two very tightly contested teams, two, I think, pretty evenly matched teams throughout the game. Spain was just slightly better. Just kind of across all phases was just a little bit better. And I think what was the nail in the coffin for Portugal was when Nuno Mendes, the left back, got hurt. When he got hurt and came out of the game, and then Semedo came in to replace him, Lamine Yamal just started cooking down that right side.
Yeah,
and then
that's a problem.
It was a problem. And then Portugal had to focus more defensive attention over there. Once they did that, and great play, Ferran Torres came in the game, Mikel Merino came in the game. Torres playing on the left side, gets a pass played into him. He half turns, plays a through ball really quick. That surprised, I think, everybody except for Merino. And then Merino gets on the end of it, hits it past the goalie, 1-0, and that's the game. It was, I mean, as a Spain fan, I was extremely happy. It was interesting because I feel like Portugal almost like couldn't get to their style, couldn't like quite affect the game or play how they wanted to. It almost felt like they played into Spain's hand, trying to possess like Spain. That's kind of what I saw. I don't know what you saw with this one.
Yeah, I didn't see too much of it. I just think like from you saying that their left back going out, I thought Portugal had a very talented team. Yeah. And I just don't know. it's just one of those conundrums of like you have a very talented team, but like it just doesn't seem like there's one piece of the puzzle that's missing. There's one like things just don't add up,
Yes.
and maybe
Yeah.
that was Ronaldo. I think that's unfair. I think it's a little unfair. Maybe,
To put
but
it
maybe it
all on him.
was to
Yeah.
put it all on him because I remember that's the same at United. But it's like there were more pieces wrong with United than there are with Portugal. I think in terms
Yeah.
of creativity and defensive solidity.
Yeah.
I think it's just a
You could
hard
put-
game. You're going against Spain, and Spain
Yeah.
are a fantastic team. That's a
Yeah.
really hard game. It's just a hard game.
I think Portugal was outclassed in the midfield. I really do. You know, I don't think any of between mostly Vitinha, but Bruno Fernandes a little bit had a hard time finding their way into the game because Spain did a really good job of crowding them out of the midfield and winning the ball back.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a tough game, but Spain played their style and was able to just be just that little bit better than Portugal.
Yeah. That's all that was needed. So,
yeah. Also, Ferran Torres haters, hand up. I'm one of them. I'm absolutely one of them. But he said, "F you. I'm putting my stamp on this game," and he did. And I'm so happy for him. But
good for toenails.
Yeah, good for toenails. Yep. Absolutely. So, Andy, now I know we're running long, but we got to get to this game.
We do.
Belgium, USA.
And then we have to get to the other game too.
Yes.
So go for it.
Yeah, Belgium, USA. We know the scoreline: 4-1 Belgium. It was not a close 4-1. The US goal, which was a tying goal because it was 1-0 at the time for Belgium. Again, another free kick taken by Tillman that everybody was like, "What a great free kick!" I'm like, the only reason Courtois didn't stop it is because it took a careen off the wall and went 45 degrees in the opposite direction of where it was going. And Courtois couldn't do anything about it. Like, everyone needs to shut up about how great these free kicks are. And I'm not trying to hate on Tillman, but they went in the net.
They're just not good. They're just not good quality free kicks.
Exactly. It just went in the net. That's the only redeeming factor about it. So, and then Belgium, like 2 minutes later, like U.S. fans were still celebrating their goal, and Belgium comes back and scores again.
Yeah.
Third goal, the U.S. goalkeeper has an absolute brain fart, kicks the ground, tries to pass the ball to somebody. It goes off the Belgian player. Belgium kicks it in the net 3-1. Late in the game, Romelu Lukaku turns the ball over, smashes the ball past the U.S. goalkeeper 4-1. So the entire U.S. team did not play well, and I'm so happy about that. And I'll get to that in a minute, but let me go back just a little bit. Lead up to the game, we talked about Balogun got his red card and wasn't going to be able to play in this game. All of a sudden, FIFA enacts Article 27 saying that they can review and rescind a suspension for a player, which famously or infamously they did for Ronaldo in the lead up to this World Cup, who got a red card and a 3-game suspension in the second to last lead-in game to this World Cup. So he should have missed the first 2 games of this World Cup. But FIFA doesn't want Ronaldo to miss 2 games of his last World Cup. So they said, we're going to push it off until basically after he's going to be retired.
And to me, it kind of makes sense because it's like, it's also the tournament. Like he's getting into the tournament. I can see that being enacted of like, if you have like a red card, like leading into the tournament, that feels kind of weird. So personally, I understand why that would be enacted for that. I could see that, and that feels more valid.
I disagree, but that's not the point. But anyway, so Trump said, I had a call with Infantino and we got that red card repealed. Belgium found out about this through social media. They didn't even get an official correspondence from FIFA that this red card was reversed. And I'm like, wow, this is stupid. Because if the U.S. wins, there's going to be all these asterisks and he shouldn't have played. And especially if he scores, blah, 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 blah. So I already don't like the U.S. and we've talked about why. But I'm just like, I hope he does not affect the game in any meaningful way because, and I feel bad for him because it was not his fault, but it's just going to put so much negative everything around the U.S. in this game. but Belgium comes in, smacks the United States. So happy about that.
Yeah.
My key player who failed the US more than anybody was Tim Ream.
Wow.
And if you go back and watch the goals, he was the reason, maybe not the main reason, but he was a factor in every single goal. First goal, he doesn't track the defender all the way back. He stops running. The striker for Belgium runs basically off of his back shoulder and has an easy tap in. Second goal, ball played into the box. He gets absolutely bodied on this header. Like he ends up face down on the ground, just absolute bodied for that second goal. Third goal, after the goalie fails to clear the ball, he runs back and he's in position to help block the shot from the Belgian player that's from like 30, 35 yards out. But instead of just like stopping and squaring his body to the shot and just blocking it, he tries to do this half pirouette flick with his left foot and ends up deflecting it into his own net. That's 3. On the Romelu Lukaku turnover, after the ball gets turned over, he stops, stands from like 5-10 yards away, watches Lukaku shoot instead of trying to get in front of the shot, and just watches the ball go in the net. So again,
he was off it. He was a microcosm of the game.
He is the microcosm of the United States soccer as a whole. So another storyline, Belgium mocking Trump's dance after putting the 4th goal in, and then in the post-game locker room celebrations was absolutely hilarious.
Absolutely love it.
Yep, absolutely love it. The Belgian Twitter or Instagram account posting reverse this and posting the scoreline. 10 out of 10. Absolutely love that. But yeah, I just, we've talked about this before. I just hope this reverses how the US approaches soccer. We have to make soccer cheaper for people to play, because the US has continuously gotten the richest, like just the rich kids to play, because it's too expensive for other parents to put their kids in the sport. And I saw something where Tyler Adams has famously said around 14 years old, it got really expensive for his family to play. And that's those critical years, those early teenage years for a player to develop and kind of jump to that next level.
Yeah.
Europe has a great system where the clubs have clauses in the contracts of these kids that they develop that if they get sold in the future, some of that money goes towards these youth clubs so that they can fund everything that they're doing for these kids to keep it as cheap as possible for these families, for these parents. The United States, it's not hard. There is a system in place. The problem is they want to make as much money as possible. And the people running this, they don't care if the US develops a good team. They don't care. They just care about money and dollar signs. So as long as the money keeps rolling in, that they don't care. But here's the thing. If we want to get good, somebody has to shake this up. And I don't know who it would be. Landon Donovan has said it's his life's work now that he's retired to make this game cheaper for people and to make it more like the European system. We got to do something. And again, we've talked about this. Listeners, I'm happy to talk about it more, but because we're so far into this podcast, I'm not going to go on much further. There has to be a change with US soccer, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. And everybody's saying there's a silver lining. This is going to inspire more kids to play, and US is going to get better from here. No, they're not. They're not. This is going to be, the US is going to do this every single World Cup until we can develop talent from these, not the richest of the rich kids. Because if you look across the world, it's not the richest of the rich that are the best players. It is players who have played in the slums. It is players who have little money and just work and work and work that become the greatest. Happened with Messi. Rafinha is another great example of that. I mean, you can go through so many players, and not all of them have that story, but a lot of them do. They did not come from silver spoon families.
Yeah. I think just to kind of cap the point is like I think this is the reason why the soccer culture is the way that it is in the US and why it's really hard for it to progress. And I think we see that too. And I think we even see that with the fans, like you're saying, like the ones that see it every 4 years and are like, oh, what a great goal and blah, blah, blah. It's like we still don't understand the sport. Like we don't understand the nuances of like even so much as a thing of like, it's good in general. It's a good thing if you hit the post. Like, just recognize that, because it means like you were on target. You
Yes.
took it away from goal. The U.S. is not going to think of that, and it's kind of just the braggadociousness. I think that's what's in the U.S. That's what's in the U.S. and it comes
Yep.
from the academies. It comes from political interference. All these things. So, all to your point, we'll talk about when we round up a little bit more,
Yep.
giving our final thoughts. But we also have, I think, the other game of the tournament as well in this
You want to
crazy
talk about
comeback.
stress? You want to talk about stress?
Yeah, we talked about stress. We talked about stress.
Yes. Yeah, I was stressed because Argentina plays Egypt 0-0 halftime, and then Egypt comes out and scores 2 goals early to mid second half. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And it could have been 3 because Egypt did actually put the ball in the back of the net that was called back because of a foul, a stamp on Lautaro Martínez's foot in the lead up to the goal. That was, I don't think, a legit call, but it could have been 3 because the referee could have decided that, not enough there, and it's a good goal. But
yeah, this is where the rumors start that there's maybe some skeevy kind of refereeing for that. I don't know. This is just what I'm hearing. I'm just sharing what I'm hearing.
And some people could say that. I don't agree with that. I'm also I'm viewing this through the fan or through the eyes of an Argentina fan, but to me they look like a clear stamp on the foot. Anyway, Argentina come back and they score 3 goals in a 14-minute period to beat Egypt. And I still can't believe it. I still cannot believe it happened. I think Scaloni is an absolute genius because he stopped playing Messi through the middle because Egypt was really clogging up the middle. So he brought on Lautaro Martínez and then put Julian Alvarez and Nico Gonzalez actually technically on the left side to create an overload in the middle and on the left. And then he moved Messi to the right. And Messi kind of floats, as we know this throughout the game, but he kind of started taking up more space on the right side so he could create more space, create the assist on the Romero goal, header goal. That was the tying goal, I believe. Messi scored as well. And I can't remember who scored the third one. Anyway, doesn't matter. They ended up scoring 3 goals in 14 minutes. And I just, I haven't heard anything about, CD refereeing or anything like that, hasn't come across my feed. But just looking at what I could tell from on the field, I mean, Argentina remind me of Barcelona in this moment where they're going to give up goals, but they're going to score goals. So it's going to be a matter of are they going to be able to continuously score more goals than they give up on a game-to-game basis as these rounds go on?
Yeah, this is where like the question marks are kind of happening.
Yes,
just because
100%.
This has been 2 games now where they've struggled. Now this could be a little blip and they continue on, but I think the invincibility of Argentina, I think is ebbing away a little bit.
Agreed.
From these times.
100%. I agree 100%. Yep.
Maybe Argentina is still feeling invincible because they've just overcome these 2. So it kind of plays, I think, can play either way. But man, gives a little bit more hope if England can get past Norway. Gives me a little bit more hope as an England fan. Is all I'm saying.
I agree with you. 100%. Yep. Absolutely.
So anyway, last game to talk about. No goals in this one. We had to go to penalties. In a penalty shootout versus Switzerland and Colombia. Guess who won?
Switzerland. Rock solid Switzerland. Which makes me nervous for the next round because Argentina is going to play Switzerland. And I think from the teams that we have left, especially with a couple of these surprise teams, they've been the most solid, other than maybe Spain and France, of the teams that we've seen so far. From they don't really give up goals. They play inside their game. They execute their game plan. And if you don't have it, they're going to beat you.
Yeah, because they will have a plan for it. So, yeah, just crazy. Colombia is out. Colombia looked pretty looked pretty decent.
Yeah,
I thought.
absolutely. I was worried about playing Colombia in this next round as an Argentina fan. Now I got to worry about playing Switzerland.
Yeah. I don't know which one you would rather have. Maybe Colombia because that's the enemy kind of thing.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah, but
crazy.
man, what a round of 16 that we had, man. Holy cow, so many good games.
Three massive games that we were both looking forward to. And I mean, maybe not for you, but mine was England win.
Yep.
Seeing an England win, Argentina advancing, and then an emphatic loss by the US.
Yep. Agreed.
So those are our big ones there.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to bracket updates, Paul, or should we go to Superduds?
I'll just do a really, really quick one. Just kind of look at teams remaining, like the kind of final four. Z has 3 of her 4 teams remaining. Bridget has 3 of her 4 teams remaining. I have 3 of 4 teams remaining, and you have 3 of 4 teams remaining.
Oh wow!
So,
okay, amazing.
We are all in a pretty decent spot. My bracket is a little rough since I had the Netherlands going to the finals and they are out. So, but I still think it could technically be anybody's bracket. But I think especially you and Z's brackets are looking quite good right now.
Dun 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 dun. We'll see. In my other bracket, the bracket selection that we did, for the Hayes group, holy cow, I'm doing so bad. I'm worse than the AI. We actually had an AI pick, and AI's trouncing me. And it's like, you know what?
No.
I'm fine being dumber than a computer. I don't need a computer to tell me that I'm dumb. I'm not as smart as a computer. I know that. You have the whole internet. I have a brain. So deal with that.
That might be my highlight of the podcast.
Are you dumber than AI? Sure am.
Sure am. No question here.
Yeah, but I'm darn proud of it. Rootin' tootin' proud of it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So Superduds, Paul. Yeah, let's start with Superduds so we can end on a high.
Agreed.
You're Superdud?
Yeah, I mean, just the USA's performance in the last game, Tim Ream especially, was just horrendous. Also, and I think you'll kind of go into this so I can skip that one, but everything surrounding the red card, I'll let you get into that a little bit more. And then for me, just the lack of sportsmanship from Kylian right after that win. I know you don't agree with it. But
it's funny because initially I did see where you were going with the lack of sportsmanship. I was like, oh yeah, the way he responded back to the statesman. But I was like, no.
Yeah.
So senator. So yeah. So same side but different sides at the same time.
Same but different.
On the same side, but very different reasons how we got there.
Yep. Andy, you're dud.
I think my dud's the whole red card situation.
Yeah.
I know I said with the title 27 with like Ronaldo, I could see it a little bit being like it's coming into a tournament, but I think absolutely just during a tournament, you can't do this.
Nope.
You can't say this immediate effect in a tournament scale to do that. It's just against everything you grow up as someone playing and like respecting, the laws and the regulations, because like that's how it is, and like things are unfair. And what's even more sucky is that like Belligan, like what he did after the red card and like shaking the ref's hand and everything afterwards was trying to show, being like, hey, like you still have to show respect.
Yep.
And then you have the leaders of the world essentially meddling with that and saying, actually, that doesn't matter. And like, what kind of message are we sending through that? I don't want to take it to like an extreme level, but I think there is a little bit of this, and I think we're noticing this with our leaders just in general of the corruption that used to be like behind the scenes, like no one saw, is now just out in the open.
Yep.
And that was the big thing, is like, I don't think people didn't necessarily think this Infantino and Trump was really happening until Trump just came out and he said it himself. God, what an idiot.
Yep.
Like what a
my favorite fallout from this not only is the US loss and Balogun not really having an effect on the game, but is Infantino is now in super hot water, and it sounds like he might be removed from his position.
He's making Sepp Blatter look like, the whistleblower and the guy who can clean up FIFA.
Yeah.
And this is Sepp Blatter, who was tried by the US for like corruption. Holy cow.
Yep.
I guess I think last thing I was going to mention on the red card is. I think that whole saga had an effect on the U.S. because it changed
Agreed.
again from what I'm hearing with Rebecca Lowe, and I really do agree with her on this. Is like
Yeah.
all the noise around that is something that they did not plan for happening.
Yeah.
And I think they wanted to keep that out as far away as they could, and they
Yep.
were doing a decent job of it, trying to. But then this comes in, and it's like, yeah, it's like good riddance in that sense. So
Everything
yep.
Trump touches turns to mold.
Yeah, sure does. All right, super sub. Then we'll end on that high.
Yeah. Actually, the other one that I didn't mention, honorary mention, is I think his name's Jordan Henderson, right?
Oh yeah.
For England. So in the late stages of the Mexico game, he gets a yellow card for yelling at the ref and basically coming out of his technical area.
Can't take the sun out of the boy.
No. And then I feel so bad for him, but it makes for a funny story. So in the celebration after the game, there was rain and the game was delayed by an hour. He tries to jump one of the news boards on the behind the goal, slips as he's going over the board, falls on his wrist and breaks his wrist.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for him, but I saw a post and it was quite funny. And I probably shouldn't laugh, but it was like Jordan Henderson's like stats. It was 1 yellow card. And his heat map was on the post and it was just his body lying behind the goal. And I know I shouldn't laugh, but it made me laugh.
That's really funny.
I shouldn't laugh, but it was too funny, and I feel really bad for him. And I'm sorry that he broke his wrist, and now he's not going to be able to play.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he only played one game anyway, and I don't know if he was really going to get a chance in. But whatever. Yeah, it's still pretty funny.
It's funny.
Just everything from that actually, because that brings up another super sub for myself. But we'll get to yours.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna let you go for yours.
Oh, we're gonna go for mine. I'm gonna say I was just gonna say Dan Burns, coming in 6'7", with his playing career the way it was, all the mental, like him opening up about the mental illnesses that had kind of plagued him, and him getting his moment to shine. Like he has a moment to shine now, and he's going to have that story for forever. So I'm so happy for him. Also, we have the best post match interview ever with Harry Kane losing his voice after singing Wonderwall.
Oh my gosh.
And him saying, "We had a fight. We had to fight. We hunkered in." It's like, man, he sounds like a prepubescent child.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Like, oh my God, you could not have expected anything less.
Yeah.
So just all from that.
So good. Yeah. My super sub, Andy, was just Scaloni with his masterclass of substitutions and tweaking his team. And Lautaro Martínez, I think, had a really big hand. Oh, that's who scored the third one. It was a cross from Lautaro Martínez to Enzo Fernandez on a breakout. And just like, I think he played a subs role extremely well and just kind of flipped that game on his head. So those three, and then Ferran Torres and Mikel Merino for coming on and being the assist and goal scorer in that game was just genius. So I also love Mikel Merino's celebration anytime he scores. So what he does is he runs to the corner flag and does like a little loop around it. It was a celebration that his dad used to do when his dad played.
That's nice.
And I don't know the full story around it, but I'm pretty sure his dad had like a shortened playing career because of injuries and should have gone on to kind of do more if his career wasn't shortened by injury. Yeah. But and I don't know the full story, but just seeing him honor his dad like that is just awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. Those are the stories that the World Cup needs to hear more of. So
definitely.
All right, everybody, we're going to be back for another episode next week. Holy cow, we have the whole thing to go through again.
Less matches, though. It'll be less matches every time.
So it'll be hopefully shorter than previous ones. But I have been Andy. Paul has been Paul. And with that, I'm wishing you all a big old bye.